Hi everyone, Shabbat Shalom. Quick video, very short communal update, a short piece of Torah, and a short meditation. The quick update is a building on the update I gave last week, which is that the clergy, Rabbi Chorny, Rabbi Schatz, and I and the interns are hard at work trying to program and plan the next weeks and months of Shabbat for you. Tomorrow morning, the library meeting will be leading services out on the field, and Rabbi Chorny and Rabbi Schatz and I will be leading a service anchored in the sanctuary. A little bit different than the normal Zoom service. We're going to do an elongated Psuke de Zimra and really revel in the singing and the ability to slow down our heartbeat and slow down time as we get ready to move towards the meat of the service. And then there'll be an extended Torah discussion that I will lead with Rabbi Chorny. We will not do Musaf as a community tomorrow so that we can finish all of that in a relatively concise amount of time. So that'll be tomorrow, and then look for an email early next week that will explain the next 14 Shabbatot and what will be happening outdoors, what will be happening indoors, including some Hama'alot services, including Shabbat Hafucha, a Shabbat in reverse that we have been thinking about for quite some time, where we start with Musaf, then move backwards through the service and end with 45 minutes or maybe even an hour of Psuke de Zimra, of verses of praise, singing and harmonizing together. That email will come out tomorrow, and we're really excited to be sharing these new versions of the same old thing, which is the Shabbat morning liturgy. Okay, here's the piece of Torah. It's possible to walk with God, or believe that you are, and still be lacking, and still be wrong, and still be far from righteous. That's the upshot of a rather surprising assessment of Noach, Noah, by Rabbi Shlomo Kluger, who was a 19th century Hasidic master, in his commentary called Imrei Shefer, Words of Beauty and Praise. He wades into the centuries-old rabbinic conundrum of how to understand the Torah's contextualizing Noach's being a tzaddik, a righteous man, bidorotav, in his generation. Is it a praise? Even in such a wretched generation of sinners, he was able to be righteous. Amazing. Or is it backhanded? Sure, among such wickedness, he stood out for being a bit less wicked, but no need to lionize him. Rabbi Kluger sides with the latter reading, but he doubles down on it. He is informed, or at least hangs his hat, on a verse from Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 9. Isaiah channels God's calming message to ancient Israel. God's not going to destroy them, even if they have sinned. And God invokes the flood. And God invokes God's promise not to destroy the world ever again with these interesting words. Ki me Noach zot li. This era, God says through Isaiah to the Israelites of that generation, these days are like the waters of Noach. Now we all know what Isaiah was referring to, the water from the days of Noach. But there's considerable debate about those two words, me Noach, the waters of Noach, because that phrase does not appear in the Torah's telling of the story. And really, it was God's waters, not Noach's waters, right? It was Noach's ark to protect from God's waters. So why does this memory put it in the language of me Noach? Some, including the medieval French commentator RAK, believe the original verse was not me Noach, the waters of Noach, but ye me Noach, the days of Noach, which makes a bit more sense. God is going back to the days, the era of Noach, rather than calling the waters of the flood by Noach's name. But Rabbi Kluger reads it differently. Isaiah meant me Noach. These are Noach's waters. Why? Because Noach didn't just save himself from them. He was the instigating cause of them, of the flood. He caused the flood. How so? Because he was just a little more righteous, a little less sinful than those in his generation, he thought he deserved to be saved. But he missed his calling. His true calling, according to Kluger, was not to save himself and his family, but to save humanity, to try at least, to be a prophet, to call them back from the edge of sinfulness, to be like Jonah, who resisted, but eventually went to Nineveh and he told all of the residents there to repent. It was Noach's certainty that he would be saved from the flood, that wonderful sense of comfort, that was the final nail in the coffin of humanity, and which brought the flood waters themselves. Yeah, according to this reading, Noach survived. Someone had to. But he's not to be admired. Not like Abraham, who argues with God on behalf of the sinners in Sodom. Noach never protested. Goodness is not to be admired in oneself. It's to be harnessed for the sake of others. And even though Et Elohim hitalech Noach, that Noach walked with God, he never understood what that intimacy with the divine was for. It was not ultimately to save his own life, but to save and improve the lives of others. Do you consider yourself righteous? Are you a righteous person? To what end? Whom are you protecting from the great flood with your righteousness? If it's mostly yourself, then the storms around you may one day be attached to you and your name. And your righteousness still has a way to go. Shabbat Shalom. If you want to stay for a meditation, please do. If not, I wish you Shabbat Shalom, and I miss you, and I love you. So for those who want a short meditation, I ask you to close your eyes. We're going to shift from the theme of that Dvar Torah, but stay in the general imagery of the Parsha. Close your eyes and allow a wonderful heaviness to come over you. Feeling the beautiful pull of the gravitational forces pulling your body into the chair or the couch you're sitting on and your feet into the floor beneath you. You can imagine yourself on the edge of a very high diving board, but with no fear. Imagine you dive off and you are falling, but there's no concern of impact. You are in descent. You both feel the earth acting upon your mass, and you are also somehow weightless. And as we create this meditative moment, we are like Noach, creating an ark, a vessel that protects, that encloses, that embraces, that shuts off, at least for now, all that is going on out there. Your teva is a sanctuary. This ark that you have constructed just in the last few moments, this meditative ark, is a place to find refuge. And you built it so quickly. The storms may continue to rise and rage outside this teva, but for now, you are impervious to them. In this moment, they are irrelevant. They will become relevant as soon as you emerge. We always must emerge from our arcs. But for now, just safety and wellness and sanctity. We build this ark with our breath, an act of kindness and love to self, so that when we emerge from our ark, we are that much more ready to be kind and helpful to others. Breathe your ark into existence and see yourself like Noach at the helm, within, sealed, safe, knowing that you are in an ark, a teva, which if you stayed too long would begin to feel like a prison. But for now, it is a haven. For now, it is all that you need. And we breathe. And we linger. And we live. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and emerge from your ark, from your teva, and get ready for the Shabbat, its opportunities and its challenges, to use our righteousness to make an impact on others. Shabbat Shalom.